Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've made anything, so I am sorry for that, but I have a good reason for it. Not really, but let's pretend that I do. And that reason is that I actually moved back home from the place I was staying at for college, had to live with my parents for a little bit, but I finally found a place for me and my boyfriend, and we moved in last weekend, and it took us a long time to get the internet set up, so that's my reason. So now we are renting this cute small farmhouse in the middle of the country where nobody will hear me if I get murdered. Yay. I will be continuing my shitty rant videos and you'll probably see more DIYs as well, which will probably fail because I'm an incompetent piece of shit. But I'm actually going to be starting some new series as well, one that I'm going to start right here, right now. It's called Let's Talk Anime. And in this series I will be talking with you guys about an anime I have watched that isn't as popular, didn't get as much coverage as some of the more popular anime in the world, and hopefully I will be able to introduce you guys to some new anime and hopefully you can watch them. So the first anime I'm going to be talking about on this series is called Fukigen na Mononokean. This series came out last season, and while it's relatively new, I still don't see a lot of content about it. Like, there's no fan base for it, which is weird. So I kind of wanted to cover it because it was one of my favorite anime of the summer season, and I don't understand why more people wasn't drawn to it. I don't know. Now, this anime is only 13 episodes long, so if you really wanted to, you could probably binge watch it in a day. Unless you had a life. I don't. I personally started watching it because it reminded me of my all-time favorite anime, Natsume Yuujincho, which none of you probably know either, because nobody knows it. So I'm going to start out giving an introduction to each one of the characters, well, each one of the main characters anyway. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Hanae Ashiya. So Ashiya is just this normal kid who gets possessed one day by a yokai on the day right before he starts high school. He ends up contacting an exorcist to get rid of the yokai, and in turn ends up working for him to pay off his debt. Ashiya is a very kind-hearted character. He's super nice, super kind. He's kind of a crybaby. By kind of, I mean really big crybaby. Ashiya has hinted at having this really mysterious power, and that even leads to some of the yokai calling him dangerous. But it was never explained in the anime what that was, and I am up to date with the manga, and so far it hasn't explained what it was either, so we know fuck all about that. The next character I'm gonna go... what is his name? The second protagonist of this series is the exorcist Ashiya ends up contacting, and his name is Haruitsuki Abino. Abino is a very short-tempered, blonde-haired character who is actually in the same high school class as Ashiya. What a coincidence. Abino is the current owner of the Mononokean, which is a yokai that takes the form of a Japanese tea room that teleports anywhere, to any door. Abino is able to exorcise yokai by opening a portal to the underworld and sending the yokai on through. But he can only do this twice a day because it exhausts him and he will end up passing out. So, you know. He also believes that helping yokai is more important and beneficial than helping humans. Kinda like me with cats. The next characters I'll be going over are more kind of minor characters, so I'm not gonna dive in as deep as I did with the other two just because I would be here all day. The next character is Zenko Fujiwara, which is a 15-year-old girl who lives in a shrine with her father. She is a customer who contacted Ashiya and Abino to help her out with a yokai that was possessing her father early on in the series. She ends up showing up a couple more times throughout the whole series and offers her help to the two exorcists. The next character is Fuzzy or Moja, and Moja is actually the spirit, or the yokai, who possessed Ashiya in the first episode, but he is later exorcised, and then in a couple more episodes he comes back and is actually an official employee of Abino himself. Yahiko is a fox yokai who is very mischievous, kinda likes to play pranks, kind of an asshole, who used to play with Abino when he was younger. They would play hide and seek, tag, all those kinds of games together. They used to be very close close when Abino was younger. Yahiko is actually the one who gave Zenko her power to see yokai by biting her on the arm. Because of this, he actually works at her father's shrine now to kind of make up for what he did. And by working at the shrine, I literally just mean lounging about and eating their food. Yeah. Goals. Now, I think that's enough about the characters, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive into the summary of the first episode. So if you don't want anything spoiled for you, which I already kind of did a little bit, I would suggest that you just go and watch the series for yourself. So the first episode starts out with Ashia walking along a sidewalk where he encounters a fuzzy white blob. He thinks that this is a child's toy and he thinks he's being a super good adult by putting it in an easy to find place so that the child can come and get it later on. As we know, the spirit turns out to be Fuzzy or Moja and possesses him. This causes Ashia's health to fall and it makes him increasingly nauseated, weak, and just all around really sick. This leads Ashia to spend his first 5 days of high school inside the nurse's office at school because every day he'll attempt to go to his homeroom class and pass out. He ends up finding a hiring poster for an exorcist, so he does the logical thing and he calls it. He thinks it's a prank anyway, but he's like, if there is any way that I can get rid of this spirit yokai thing, fucking sign me up. A man ends up answering his phone call and immediately tells him, open the door to the nurse's office and you'll know where to go from there. When he opens the door, he is greeted by the Mononokean, which just looks like a normal tea room to him. So he's kind of like, has this tea room always been connected to the nurse's office? And sitting in the middle of the tea room is no other than Abino. Abino is disappointed to learn that Ashia doesn't want to work for him and just wants his help, but he decides to, you know, help him out anyway. To exorcise the yokai, Abino explains that he has to give the spirit what it wants. So basically what they do is play fetch with it. Abino explains to Ashia that the spirit is just a deceased pet who wanted attention again. When the yokai is finally exorcised, Abino says, "Pay up, bitch." When Ashia explains that he doesn't have that kind of money, Abino just says, well, work for me to pay it off. Or in High School Host Club style, bitch! The rest of this anime is just the story of these two boys going to exorcise yokai, helping people, and actually going to the underworld a couple times. The next thing I'm going to do is to rate this anime. I'm going to use the standard 1 out of 10 rating scale. You know how that works. But I'm going to grade it on 3 different categories. First, story progression. 2, character development. And 3, animation. Okay, so story progression. This one is actually really hard to grade on story progression because instead of having like a linear plot, kind of more like a new story every episode. But even though it does that, it still manages not to derail and let you forget about past characters and past stories. The second one is character development. I feel like this is a big one for this anime because Ashia starts out with just wanting Moja off his back, not caring what happens. He even takes it off his back one time and fucking punts it like across the hallway. Like he's so mad. He doesn't care about the yokai's feelings. He just wants it gone. Later on in the series, he actually gets very emotionally invested in every yokai story and will do anything to help them. And then at the beginning, Abino-san is very strict and stern and doesn't really give a shit about any human. Same. He's also very short-tempered with Ashia in the beginning, but as the series goes on, you can kind of see that layer of him start to break away, and he becomes very close and attached to Ashia. And then third is going to be animation. While the animation of this anime can sometimes seem flat, I actually really love it. My favorite part about this animation is how colorful it is, especially when they go to the underworld. It's very beautiful. Overall, I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10. This anime is one that really lets you fall in love with the characters and really get engrossed to every story that the yokai present to you. I know I was personally very emotionally invested in this anime. I mean, what anime am I not? And it was very sad to see it go after only 13 short episodes. But the manga is still going on, so I think I can live a little bit longer. Well, this has been the first episode of Let's Talk Anime. I know it's kind of all over the place. I don't really know what I'm doing quite yet, but I hope to be doing one of these every week. Probably on Saturday or Sunday I'll probably post them. But yeah. So if you liked it, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Give this video a like, and if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, you guys have a lovely day, and I will see you later. Bye!